Third, samskaras received from the environment. What type of pictures you see, what type of programs you see in the TV, what type of friends you are keeping, what type of environment you are living. All this makes an impression on the mind. And fourth is what type of samskaras you received in the education institutions from the teachers. These four parameters make up the samskaras. So that is why it said, sow a thought, reap a habit, reap an action, sow an action, reap a habit, and sow a habit, reap a character. So all depends upon what type of thinking we are having. That is why Swami Vivekananda says, doing is very good, but that comes from thinking. Fill the mind therefore with highest thoughts, place them day and night before you, and out of that will come great work. If you want a great character to be formed, the first thing important is to place good thoughts, powerful thoughts, inspiring thoughts into the mind. It may be done through audiovisual aids, it may be done through reading, it may be done through coming into contact with inspiring people, but these are the methods by which we get powerful thoughts, and from that the powerful character will come. So, for building up this character, we can have, I say, total personality development. This is nothing but character building. Because nowadays most of the people, they are going for the personality development, that is all external part. But if you really want character building, we must have total personality development. That is, number one, external development of the personality, of course, physical development of the personality. You must have good physique, you must have a healthy body, and that can come through good exercise and nutrition. But that is not enough. Second is you must have a strong mind. And strong mind will come by practice, as you just now heard. Willpower has to be there. Control of mind is there to be there. So you have to have a strong mind, strong willpower, strong self-confidence. Third, intellectually also you should be strong, bright intellectuals. But that is not enough. Most important is moral and spiritual development of the personality. These five will make up the total personality development, which will be equivalent to character building. And if you go through the complete works of Swami Vivekananda, they are now available in 9 volumes. What do you find? You find the complete solution of how to build this character, how to get total personality development. After going through the complete verse, I have made just a summary so that you can remember. Swamiji has not given this Panchashila, but from his message I have concluded that if we take care of these 5, what I call them Panchashila for the youth for total personality development. Panchashila, 5 pillars, 5 messages that you receive. I am trying to summarize into these 5 points the whole message of Swamiji for character building. Number 1, self-confidence. Swami Vivekananda says, the old religion said he is an atheist who does not believe in God. The new religion says he is an atheist who does not believe in himself. So first you must have self-confidence. How to develop self-confidence? Modern psychologists say you develop PMA, avoid NMA. What is PMA? Positive mental attitude. Avoid NMA. What is NMA? Negative mental attitude. So avoiding NMA and getting PMA will give you self-confidence. So how to get PMA? Positive mental attitude. What is positive mental attitude? As I told you, if a glass is half full of milk, NMA will say glass is half empty. But PMA will say glass is half full. Similarly, a student says, I have got 60% marks, I will commit suicide. NMA. But another boy says, no, I have got 60%, I expected 90%, I am disappointed, but doesn't matter. At least I have got first class. Many students have failed. I not only passed, got the first division also. Next year I will work harder and get 90%. That is PMA. For every situation, there are 2 ways of looking at things. So, develop PMA. Self-confidence. This is most important point. If you don't have confidence, then even if you know so many things, you will fail in the interview. You may be a very good runner, but if you don't have confidence, you will not be able to win in the competitions. So self-confidence is a must. Second, self-reliance. You must depend upon yourself. Don't depend upon others. try to do everything yourself as much as possible and don't seek others' help. Try to depend, be self-reliant in every small matters also. Gradually you will be able to become self-reliant in bigger matters also. And don't go to an astrologer, oh please see whether I will pass in the examination or not. That is foolish. You must work hard. You are the creator of your own destiny, Swami Vivekananda says. Not that destiny is not there. You are the creator of your own destiny. Destiny is there, but who made the destiny? As you sow, so you reap. If you do a good action, you'll get good result. If you do a bad action, you'll get bad result. So ultimately it is you who are responsible for whatever you get. Of course, there may be delay in getting, but you will certainly get. That is the law of karma. Law of karma is supreme in the mental world, as law of gravitation is supreme in the physical world. So, as you saw, so you reap. You are the creator of your own destiny. Be self-reliant. Third, self-knowledge. How will you get self-confidence and self-reliance? When you know there is infinite power within each and every one of us, whether we know it or not. The power, the Atman containing infinite power is residing inside each and every human being, says the Kathopanishad. Says that inside every human being there is Atman having infinite power. Esha sarveshu bhuteshu gudo atma na prakashate drishyate tvagraya buddhya shukshmaya shukshmadarshibhi. Inside every human being there is this Atman residing, having infinite power. But it is not visible. Then what is the proof? How do we believe it? Some have seen it. Drishyate. Some have seen it. Who have seen it? Drishyate tvagraya buddhya. Those who have got 1 point in intellect. Shukshmaya shukshmadarshibi. Those who have got 1 point intellect, they have got this power. So, what is that Shukshma Buddhi? Not this ordinary intellect. A special type of intellect is needed to realize this self or to have the confidence about oneself. This particular self which is infinite in nature, having infinite power. A special type of intelligence is required. Now, fortunately, the modern science has come to our rescue to tell what is that. There is a book by Dana Zohar. She is a professor at Oxford University. The name of the book is SQ, Spiritual Intelligence, the Ultimate Intelligence, where she says neurologically, biologically, psychologically and physiologically. From every point of view, there is a concluding evidence. There is something called SQ, which is the basis of both IQ and EQ. And what is IQ? IQ will tell you how to play the game of life. Intelligence quotient. What is EQ? Emotional quotient, emotional intelligence. EQ will tell you how to play the game of life under changed circumstances with changed strategies. And what is SQ? SQ will tell you whether to play the game of life at all or not. Well, that is your choice. What is the aim of life? What is the purpose of life? What is the meaning of life? Why are we here on this earth? Nobody thinks about it. I'm very happy. One of the questions is that why we have come to this earth. Nobody thinks about it. I ask so many youngsters, have you ever thought what is the purpose of life? Yes, to become engineer, doctor, this okay. What is the ultimate aim of life? I never thought about it. Never thought about it. So many youngsters I ask this question. What is the meaning of life? Why are we here? Nobody has asked this question. SQ is knowing the purpose of life, the ultimate aim of life. So developing IQ. So that SQ will give us an insight into this infinite Atman. Some people have seen this Atman. Some people, Narendra Nath was in the college, was in the Scottish Church College, and then he read so many books of the Western philosophers, Kant, Hegel, Spencer, John Stuart Mill and all that, and became an agnostic. He said, I don't believe in God. What is the proof? And every great person who coming to Calcutta, he would go to and ask, yes, you are talking too much of God. Have you seen God? Nobody could answer. Then he went to Maharishi Devendranath Tagore, the father of Rabindranath Tagore. Maharishi Devendranath Tagore, he was acclaimed to be an adept in meditation. So he went there. I heard that you are meditating much on God. I want to ask you one question. Have you seen God? Maharishi Devendranath Tagore said, my dear boy, your eyes are beautiful, those of a yogi. Narendra said, my God, he was disappointed. I am asking, have you seen God? He is telling your eyes are beautiful. I don't want my appreciation, I want my answer. Nobody could give answer. One day when he had gone to college, that day, the professor of English literature was absent. Nowadays when the professor is absent, then you enjoy the holiday. Those times it was not there. The principal, Professor William Hastie himself, came to take the class on English literature. And he was teaching them the poem of Wordsworth. The name of the poem is The Excursion. In that poem, the poet describes the state of mind of a superconscious state after going through the nature's beauty. And the students asked, sir, is it possible that somebody can go to superconscious state, samadhi state? Then the principal said, yes. I have seen one person who frequently enters into this superconscious state, samadhi state. If you want, you can see that person, because that person lives in Calcutta only. There is the temple of Kali in Dakshineshwar. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa stays there. He enters into this samadhi state. Narendra said, okay, let me test Ramakrishna Paramahansa also, let me test him. So he went there. And when he went there, so Ramakrishna was talking to the devotees. He sat on one side. And after the conversation was going on, after some conversation, he said, now enough of your talks about God, now you answer my question. Have you seen God? And then for the first time, he received a very satisfactory reply, where Sri Ramakrishna said, yes, my boy, I have seen God. I am seeing Him more intensely than I am seeing you. Not only that, if you want, you can also see Him. But I can make you see Him. But you have to come and you have to undergo spiritual practices. That is the science of religion. Science says H2 plus O2 is equal to H2. I don't believe. Hydrogen is a gas. Oxygen is a gas. How it can give water? It's not a question of belief. You come to the laboratory, mix hydrogen and oxygen, have hydrolytic process, and then you for yourself find out this water is not made up of only two gases. Similarly, Sri Ramakrishna says, I have myself seen God, you also can see Him, but you have to come to the laboratory and perform spiritual practices. And Swami and Narendra accepted the challenge. And then he also had the vision of God, he had the vision of that ultimate reality. That is why in the Parliament of Religion, Chicago, he could say with conviction, Shrulvantu Vishve Amritasya Putra Aedhamani Divyani Tastu Vedahametam Purusham Mahantam Adityavarnam Tamasa Parasta Tameva Viditva Timiteti Nanya Pantha Vidate Naya. I have seen the ancient one is beyond all measures. He could say that because he had realized that ultimate reality. So that is SQ, spiritual intelligence, knowing the ultimate reality, knowing the purpose of life, knowing the meaning of life. But how to develop this SQ, for which these modern scientists do not have the answer. That answer has been given by Swami Vivekananda. In his book on Raj Yoga, he gives the whole gist of Vedanta when he says, each soul is potentially divine. The goal of human life is to manifest this divinity within by controlling nature, external and internal. Do this either by work or worship or psychic control or philosophy, by one or more or all of these, and be free. This is the whole of religion. Dogmas, rituals, worships, temples, churches, mosques are but secondary details. So the most important thing is to manifest the divinity. How? By controlling nature, external and internal. By 4 yogas: Raj Yoga, meditation; Bhakti Yoga, prayer; Karma Yoga, unselfish service; Jnana Yoga, reading good books and trying to think about the meaning and trying to practice the great message that has been received. These are the 4 methods by which gradually, if we practice these 4 yogas in everyday life, we will get tremendous power, we will develop the SQ gradually, and we will be ultimately reaching and ultimately manifest the divinity. In the process, but that is a long drawn process, but in the process, we will practice this Raj Yoga, practice Yama and Niyama. What is Yama? Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha, Ahimsa. These are the 5 virtues that are called Yama. And Niyama is Shauch, Santosh, Tap, Swadhyay, Ishwar Pranidhan. You know about this Yama and Niyama, so I am not going to details. You must have heard about from other speakers. These Yama and Niyama are the foundation stones for the Raj Yoga. Similarly, Jnana Yoga is Shravan Manan Nididhyasan. You listen to great thoughts, then you try to think about the meaning and then to try to meditate over it. And then unselfish service. And whatever work we are doing, trying to convert into worship, that is Karma Yoga. And Bhakti Yoga is prayer to the Lord, that worship of the Lord, loving